Hey guys, welcome to today's Legal 101. Being a Thursday, it's on environment and land law. I know yesterday I said that today we'll talk about correction and deletion of entries made on a birth certificate, on an ID, passport, etc. But we'll do that tomorrow. Today we're talking about what happens when property that is used, particularly land, that is used as security for a loan degrades. Now we're borrowing from a ruling that was issued by Justice Mungai this year, 2024. And the facts were as follows. A guarantor guaranteed a loan of 30 million, and in so doing, they gave their property in Mavoko as security. The open market value at the time of entering into the charge instrument, into the contract for issuance of the loan, was 110 million, and the forced sale value was 82.5 million. So, of course, the 30 million was well covered. You know, those are the things that are considered when somebody is issuing a loan, whether or not this security can cover the 30 million plus interest. Now, of course, the borrower failed to service the loan as agreed, and in fact, there were attempts to restructure the loan, but of course, mambo iliharibika, so the bank had to instruct auctioneers to sell the security, which they did at 30 million, okay, during a public auction. So the guarantor lodged this application before Justice Mungai and said, as a bank, as a lender, they had a duty to ensure they realized the best achievable price, which they did not. And in the circumstances, damages were not enough to compensate them for the harm they had suffered, the loss they had suffered. What they wanted was for the land registrar of Machakos County to be stopped from making entries in the register, of course including allowing the transfer of this property to the highest bidder. So the bank had to defend itself, and in so doing it said, we conducted another valuation at the point of sale. We found out that the open market value at this point was 40 million, and the forced sale value was 30 million. And the reason for this decline was because there were degrading activities on the property. Okay, there was vast quarrying activities on the land, and therefore this exposed the land to flooding, and so this land could not even be used for residential or commercial use. And these were facts that the guarantor was well aware of, and even in making the application, they concealed those facts. Okay, and so they added in their response that because of the COVID-19 COVID-19 pandemic, the lockdowns, the curfews, the limited movements, of course this affected the quality of life of many people and also affected land sale prices. And so it was just fair for them to sell at that price. This 30 million for sale value as per the new valuation report was actually the correct position. And they added that this allegation of fraud was very serious. You know, fraud is a quasi-criminal matter, so to speak. And so it has both civil and criminal elements. When you say somebody is being fraudulent, that's a very heavy accusation. And actually, before a civil court, you then need to prove this allegation of fraud. Otherwise, you're just joking around with defamation. So they said, you know, how to counter this is to have asked the court to allow that there be done an independent valuation and the report be filed in court for them to confirm actually that the property has degraded, and if the value is more than 30 million, okay, fine. And the bank further submitted that when you enter into a charge instrument or any other contract for that matter, you know the consequences of breach of the contract, and in such a case, you know your security will be sold. And if it's not, then the interest will cause the debt to be so high, it will erode the value of the security. The court therefore had to consider all the facts, and in so doing made this ruling. That one, it cannot rewrite the terms of a contract, meaning the deni ni kulipa, and that two, nobody actually denied being in debt. It would have been a different issue. Somebody said, actually, I've been servicing the loan, but nobody denied. Number three, all the statutory notices that were supposed to be issued were actually issued. And number four, land typically appreciates, but this happens where you make developments on the land, where there's a community around the land. So therefore there's things like schools, churches, water, electricity, roads, railways. Those are the things that actually make the land appreciate. But in this instance, that was not happening. And COVID-19 did not make anything any easier. And further, a valuation report is a very important document. It exists to ensure that the bank or the lender obtains the best price reasonable actually at the point of sale. It also protects the owner of the property, okay? And it's also to prevent unscrupulous lenders from selling the property at a price which is cheap. And so with that in mind, the person who was making the allegations, the guarantor, should have prayed that an independent valuer goes and conducts a valuation of that property. If they felt that 30 million was too low, they should have made that request and nobody would have actually refused. But they did not. Instead, they came to court with unclean hands, concealed very important facts. And so the court said, and so of course the court declined to give these orders, including the order to restrain the land registrar Machakos County from allowing the transfer of that property to the highest bidder who actually bought the property at the fall of the hammer. So I hope that helps you. I hope it assists you in your decision making. Yeah, see you for tomorrow's Legal 101. Bye.